In Mr. McFarland's absence, I'll take over, and I welcome you all to the Village of Southampton September Planning Board meeting. May I have a motion to open the meeting?
I'll make a motion to open the meeting.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. First item on the agenda is the public hearing scheduled for 134 Murray Lane, which is a application to remove the covenant restricting the beach access on this property. Mr. Bennett.
Oh, I thought it might be helpful. I just have some, they're just tax maps. So, I think as you know, these 5 lots on the subdivision, the oceanfront lots, and excuse me, in yellow, is the client's lot. They all have a covenant dating back about almost 40 years ago, stating that they all have to share, the 5 lots have to share 3 access points. So we were asking for the covenant to be lifted, properly had a public hearing, and we're in the process of gathering. It's been tough because of the holidays, but we're in the process of gathering consent from these 5 owners. We have, I don't know if you need extra copies. I'll just.
Yeah.
We have a letter from the Condren's lawyer, a letter from Cravath Swain, saying that they, on behalf of their clients, that's the property to the west, that they consent. I just spoke today to, having a hard time tracking down, but I spoke today to a lawyer in Connecticut, Mr. Bergman, Stanley Bergman, who represents the owners to the east. He said he didn't see an issue with it. And then Gil represents one of the other owners. He's been trying to track them down. It's been hard in the last couple of weeks. So we're hoping to get consent from everybody, but we're here to hear any comments that the public may have and answer any other questions.
There is, as Mr. Bennett stated, a letter from the office, the attorney representing the Condren Marital Trust, which is one of the other lots covered under this covenant, providing that they would approve of the applicant's request to lift and extinguish the covenant. Is there any public comment at all upon this application? Mr. Bennett, I would make the assumption that in view of the fact that there's nobody here to contest the application, that the rest of the people living on the property are in agreement with the...
Well, I think, why don't we, may I humbly suggest that, if I may, that you close the public hearing, but we'll furnish the other written consent. Can we do that?
Why don't you just keep the public hearing open?
Whatever gives you, whatever's fine.
Adjourn the public hearing for another month.
May I have a motion to adjourn the public hearing for another month?
You have a question?
Is that necessary to adjourn it for another month? I just,
Well, if you close the public hearing, then you get into issues of document submission after the close of the public hearing, et cetera, et cetera. The fact that there's no opposition, we're not anticipating anything, but
Okay.
if you keep it open, you haven't changed its status.
Because I just look at, I know you can't do any construction down there until August 31st, right? With any kind of approvals or anything or going forward, and I know we've been pushing this around for a few months, and Kathy had the findings that it was better to have the walkway than not have anything. So I just look at, is it necessary to push it another month with closing the public
I
hearing?
wouldn't say it's necessary, but given the fact that council's attempting to gain other written consents,
Well, I wonder if there's a middle way, but I don't want to upset anybody. It's not a big deal. Do you close except for written submission? Because the only people.
what if there's a part of a letter that draws something into issue or something? I'm just saying, I don't think anybody is intending to construct anything in the next 30 days. The season is over.
No, and that wouldn't affect,
The other ones have what they want.
The building has been approved by the ARB. I don't know where they are with the building permit, but That's not gonna, that wouldn't,
Yeah.
I just see it as, I just see it as no harm
Yeah.
in keeping it
Sense,
open.
and I agree with Zach that we just approve the application at this point, but,
I just don't see any harm in keeping it open. If
Okay.
you have the written submissions, then you've just further solidified the decision of the board at some future time.
all right. What you want to do? Shane?
It doesn't seem to make one bit of difference whether we keep it open or close it, so the only thing I'm, in my mind, is thinking of a few times, maybe we shouldn't have closed things, and then things got brought up after the fact. So in that respect, maybe we should just leave it open, because then we're covering our bases.
Is there any way we could start preparing a written approval with it open still?
Sure.
Would say that if we close it at the next meeting, that
Yeah.
might be ready to vote on right away.
Yeah. If you'd like me to do that, I'll work on a resolution
I think that would.
in
'cause it-
anticipation
and
of approval.
Yeah, work on a resolution in anticipation. We'll leave
Right.
it open for the month.
So a motion to adjourn the meeting pending the receipt of any additional comment at the following meeting. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make the motion to adjourn the public hearing
To October 7th.
October 7th.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
October 7th.
Okay. Then we have, as far as site plans go, BRL Hampton Road, which has been dormant for a while, but there is, I think I saw a new letter in the file about that. Did I see that, Kathy?
I didn't see anything
Oh.
come in.
But this is BLC. Okay, that's different than BRL. Got my B's mixed up. Okay, so I think at the work session, we thought that we were going to adjourn this, and then there was the thought that they were coming back to us.
This is adjourned, right, till October 7th?
Mr. McFarland. We have,
He was slow.
we have adjourned 134 Murray Lane until next month.
And you're the acting chairman, right? Pursuant to the village things, there is no chairman, so we should do a vote that you're the acting
I
chairman.
was just filling in for you for a brief amount of time.
All right. Why don't you be chairman? We should take a vote every time we get together. Number one, that someone for the moment, by our agreement, is de facto acting chairman because there is no one under the village regulations. Number two, that we have 5 members, even though we don't have 5 under the village regulations, until such time as they get around to deciding legally that we're properly constituted. We should have 2 motions to make it de facto that we're doing our best, despite what the village regulations say. They also say we should have a vice chairman. We can do that someday too, if the trustees do.
So, I
So
just.
the first motion is that somebody be appointed chairman. Roy, why don't you do it today? I move that Roy Stevenson be the chairman for today.
I'll second it.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you're now the chairman.
thank you
Now, a motion that we're legally constituted,
I would,
despite what the terms are otherwise indicated.
there's no doubt we're doing our best, but I would
We know
a
that.
motion that we are legally constituted. Does anybody want
I'll
to make
move that. I'll move
All right,
that.
do I have a second?
Make a second.
Second.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so back to BRL Hampton Road.
Oh,
So
you've got to excuse yourself,
Yeah, I'm
Alan.
excused.
we don't need to do anything.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can sit
you're
back
good.
down.
Sit down.
Okay. 1 Hampton Road,
Yeah, that's.
JNH LLC. I think this is new, isn't it, Kathy?
Yeah, is
Yeah.
there anybody here? You're
Are you for them? This is to reconfigure the internal space, we think.
Oh, this was at the
Yeah,
Last
work
it's
session.
the old town
last
hall.
week. There's also a memo.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Just clarification.
Yeah, this is the old town hall, and this is,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm dating myself, this is the Justice Court building, right? Phil?
Yes.
No. Yeah, and then it was
Years ago.
it was
This is
Saks
where the
and-
Justice was.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it was, and then it was Saks.
exactly.
Anyway, so the idea here is to create 1, 2, 3 units. The only changes that are happening is reconfiguring the interior so that you can have an access point for this unit, handicap, but no exterior changes whatsoever. When there's new signage, of course, they'd go into the A or B for that,
Yeah.
but nothing planned at this point. This is just to set it up that way. It was so there's no change in the parking, so the parking is grandfathered. And there's, it was, interestingly enough, when Saks took it over, subject to a review of the parking and drainage in the back. And I would humbly suggest that there's been no changes to any of the site conditions that would warrant anything else, but I'll leave that up to you. And so I guess if you need a public hearing, I would just respectfully ask you to schedule it.
Wasn't there a comment about recommending a public hearing?
Yeah, we need to have a public
Okay,
hearing.
sure.
The plan actually shows that there will be 4 units, which was one of the questions. The upstairs of the Pottery Barn, the Old Town Hall,
Oh, look at
will be
that.
Unit 4, and that actually is one of the questions, clarifying how will that be separated from.
I'm going to check on that, okay? 'Cause- let me check on that, because that was, yeah, let me check on that.
There's a few other things that have to do with access and accessibility, so you can go through those, if you could just have those, ready for public.
Oh,
hearing.
sure.
I
Just
think it makes sense to schedule it at this point.
But the reason it's before us at all is because it's going from 3 to 4, correct?
Going from 1.
From 1. Oh, I thought
Three.
it was already 3.
4,
They
I'm going
have,
to check
they
on
do
that.
have a couple of entrances.
I know, this is, I'm just a little bit
Yeah.
embarrassed, I was a little bit surprised at that, so but let me go check on
I
that.
didn't see it right away either.
The one
Yeah.
thing we do, Richard.
Right.
Might have been-
No, I thought it was
Let me
3
check.
already. I didn't realize that.
No.
It's before you because it's a request for a building permit for something other than a single-family residence. So it has to go.
Well, you're changing the, you're changing.
Yeah, oh,
the-
no, but well, yes, changing the, yeah.
Okay. So Kathy, your recommendation is that enough of there are no overhanging questions that would prevent us from scheduling a public hearing?
That's good. I think it makes sense to hear from the public at this point if there's anything else. There's a few items that can be clarified.
And Mr. Bennett, you want to expedite a public hearing?
Sure.
Okay, so,
We do just commercial stuff, and doing that, we don't have to go back into, council said it's quote grandfathered for purposes of the parking.
Parking,
That's
that's
the only
correct.
thing that ever comes before
Yes.
everybody.
So the striping, it would be good if they could go out there and restripe to make it clearer. Also, the handicap spaces might not meet the standards for today, so it might be, it's a good idea for them to try to
Okay.
fit in the correct aisle widths.
That's what comes before the village.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing you would ever look at again is this drainage, but it was looked at, and there's a site plan approved, and there's no changes to the area. And I don't think that, I spoke to Chris about that, Talbot, and he said that's never been an issue there's never been any drainage issues there, so. But anyway.
Okay, so just look through, and there's a couple of other little
Absolutely.
points about egress
Will do.
and door location. Did you do a short AF? I think you did. Yes, you did.
Oh,
I have it.
okay.
So we'll review that for next week.
we need a motion to adjourn at the request of the applicant,
Schedule a public hearing.
and schedule a
Schedule.
public hearing.
I will move that we vote to adjourn mutually and convene at a public hearing on October the 7th.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 99 Sanford Place is a subdivision, which,
It says pending review
Yep.
by NP&V, but at the work session, we put it back on the applicant to clarify items about the easement and how is this being proposed as the access for the interior lot as access onto an easement that exists, or, so we needed some clarification because otherwise it's landlocked.
did the applicant ultimately get traction with the trustees or anybody with regards to their request to have the parking restrictions
And that's a different,
changed?
that's a different
Oh.
Sanford.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
This is,
different.
remember,
This
the
is-
lot in the back, remember? which is-
Oh, right.
the lawyer-
The lawyer
Right,
office
right,
behind
yeah.
Okay,
Schmitz.
this isn't the guy with the 7 parking spaces.
No, that's a different,
Right.
Okay.
different Sanford.
Actually, that one's been
They're all the same.
dismissed.
Yeah.
That one's been dismissed, so.
It's been dismissed, okay.
So this one is back on the applicant to do some homework on the easement,
Yep.
to better define what they're asking for.
Okay.
Yes.
And is the application been adjourned? Is that necessary to do?
It should be.
It's
adjourned.
incomplete, but you should adjourn for, you can adjourn it for all purposes in the absence of a representative of the applicant.
I will move that we adjourn it for all purposes in the absence of an applicant, for the applicant and pending its completion.
Or a second?
Seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Lot line modification for 32 and 42 Post Crossing.
I can report to you, I have sent a letter to the engineer for the applicant and received a report and personal communication from Mr. Smith this afternoon. He briefed me on the general course of events with the Health Department over the last 3 years, which has been a continuing administrative back and forth between the engineer and the Health Department, and with numerous representatives of the Health Department substituting for each other. So he submitted numerous items of correspondence and surveys. I'll review those between now and your next meeting and report to you then on whether the applicant has been making a good faith effort to continue the application, which it appears to be, but let me not form a conclusion on that. So I would ask that you extend the deadline to the October 7 meeting and adjourn the application for all purposes to that time.
I'll make that motion to be adjourned for all purposes until the October 7th meeting. And we will try to get.
I'll have a report to you.
completion for
Yeah, I'll
us.
have a report to you by then.
That's the motion, seconded?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Another lot line modification, BLC Hillside Investments and 122 BLC Hillside Investments. Applicant requests adjournment to September 30th.
That would actually be an adjournment to October
October
7,
7.
which includes your work session. So modification then of the applicant's request to adjourn the matter for all purposes to October 7.
That probably requires a proper motion by us to accept it. I'll move that we accept its application.
And you're accepting and modifying it.
Yeah, and when we're accepting, what are we, we're not, we're
You're
modifying.
accepting, you're
Modifying it to the date.
you're agreeing to an extension, but you're modifying it to October 7
7th, yeah.
instead of September 30.
So moved.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Rosemary Kayola Musaisha, 140 DPL LLC and Magnolia Rose LLC. An application to take 3 lots in Duck Pond Lane and turn them into 2 lots, is that right?
Yep. Yes, indeed. Please. Don't see that often, but I.
No, that's, we're making sure water's going uphill. What's going on here?
No, so the owners, I'm indicating lots on either side, purchased this lot together. Their lots are now currently non-conforming at around 80,000 square feet. They will divide this lot and transfer, and essentially split it, and you'll end up with 2 conforming lots. This is 80,000 square feet, plus or minus 80,000 square feet, 80,000 square feet. Convey out the pieces of it, and you'll end up with 2 conforming 120,000 square foot lots.
This is in R120, right?
It's R120, yeah, but when the subdivision was approved, it was R80. So I know Kathy has some, I just want to make, did you see, I just want to make sure I'm following, you said area of existing lots and area of, your comment was area of the existing lots and the area of the land to be transferred to each parcel. Did I miss that? Did Bobby?
I see,
He's got it there.
I don't have that map.
Oh, that's a problem.
We have the map that shows the final configuration, but.
We got the map slicing off the stuff in the middle.
I'm sorry.
We have this drawing of slicing off the stuff in the middle.
Okay.
And then,
We were able to figure it out for the most part.
and there was a house there in the middle, but it's gone now.
Ooh. Okay.
And just for the record, our memo, we got this application last week, and we just wanted to
I'm
make
not
sure.
complaining.
We figured we'd try to get it done for tonight, because it's not often, like you say, that you get a subdivision that is actually making lots bigger. So, we wanted to get it done, so I didn't think I'd have time to inspect it. So the memo actually referenced possible improvements on the site based on the aerial photograph, but like John says, they're gone. So, just to keep that in mind.
You want to, I get, if we could have a.
So you can get me a short EAF between now and the work session.
Shouldn't be, this should be, no, you sense there's nothing, I'm asking this question, who would be non-routine for who and whatever the board is at that point, right?
Sorry?
When we meet next,
Yes.
which we assume will happen routinely, nothing non-routine about this except to get it complete.
The only thing we can do is the EAF, so that way the board can act on it at the public hearing, but.
So can we make a motion to schedule a public hearing for October
so.
7th?
Yes, yes.
Second it.
Okay, so yeah, I make the motion to schedule the public hearing for October 7th.
Second
Pam,
it.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. You're going to enjoy the peace and quiet out
Okay. That concludes the business at hand. Can you give us a little coaching, Antoinette, on the minute approvals?
Actually, I did do this. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry, Roy. I had it ready. I didn't realize that I wasn't here at the last meeting.
No, yeah, no. That was the work session.
Well, June 24th was the
Yeah, we had
work
to wait till
session.
today.
Okay. Okay, I'll have to pull it up differently. I had
24.
it prepared, I'm sorry about that. Just give me 1 second and I'll pull up the thing.
Okay.
Those people were
I
there.
won't be here the
They were
next
in there.
meeting. I will not be here the next meeting.
Either will I.
On
The work
October?
session.
The work session.
Work session.
Work session, I will not be here. October 7th, I will be.
Okay,
I'll be here the 7th, but
on the work session.
not the work session.
Friday, the 20th.
First one, Alan and Roy were absent on June 24th.
Who was absent?
Alan and Roy were absent on June 24th.
Yeah, I saw the minutes, yeah, okay.
So can we make a motion to approve those minutes? I'll make a motion to approve those minutes. for
I'll
June.
second it.
Aye.
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 Okay, they're approved, thank you.
Okay, on July 1st, Alan and Jane were absent.
Yep,
So make a motion to approve the July 1st meeting minutes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
and then we circulated July 29, didn't we?
July 29th, yeah, I had circulated everything up until August 5th. So we can do July 29th as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
And July 29th, everybody.
everybody. I'll move the meetings of July 29th be approved as circulated and submitted to everybody.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 And August 5th, I had sent out, but I don't know that they were circulated through to the whole board.
Yeah, I think I saw a version of
Yeah,
those.
but I think, I don't know if you want to vote on them or not.
If the board's seen them,
I'm okay with that.
okay. And we'll entertain a motion if the meeting The minutes of August
I make
5th.
a motion to approve the minutes of August 5th.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And the 26th, I sent back, so they have to send that to you.
Yep.
Okay. All right, anything else anybody want to bring up? The next meeting is a work session on September 30th in this room at 5 PM, followed by the regularly scheduled meeting on October 7th in this room at 5:30 PM. May I have a motion to close the meeting?
I will move that we close the meeting.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.